Looks like we found the poodle dog bush. We are just leaving Hiker Town. We're gonna have a little road walk to get back to the trail. Hopefully about an 8-9 mile day, get up to, it's like Horse Trail Camp, I think. So hopefully camp right below the snow, get an early start and scoot up and over that hill when it's nice and frozen. Just after Hiker Town, getting back on trail. Looks like there's a hunting club here, so heads up. I think this makes the third shooting range we've gone through. Immediately starting out from Hiker Town, we could tell we were in for a treat. The Bigelow's tick seed was blooming everywhere. Blue dicks grow from corms in the ground that can wait over 10 years for the right conditions. They often will colonize an area after a fire where there may not have been many for years. This whole hillside was covered in lupines. So this is an oak apple gall, and it's actually caused by a little wasp. It's nearly impossible to know for sure which species of wasp made the gall, but based on the size, that's my best guess. There's a water cache right before you cross this paved road heading out of Hiker Town. The water cache this year hardly seemed needed. There were so many streams. So the first 8-9 miles out of Hiker Town, I literally just identified plants and had so much fun. There was so much variety that I saw. I think this is California buckeye, and if it is, the seeds have been used by many tribes to actually stupefy fish. The pollen is dangerous to bees, but the nectar of the flowers when this tree flowers is super beneficial to a lot of moths and butterflies. The wood has been used as fireboards, and there's a lot of benefits medicinally as well. Someone please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. We had a few areas before and after Horse Trail Camp where there was a lot of down trees. I think these ones may be Sierra gooseberries, but I'm not sure. The sun's going down. I'm just about to take some melatonin and get ready to go to bed. Billy and I are going to wake up at 3 a.m. and be ready to hike at 4, so this next section of snow we can hopefully stay on top. So let's see how we do. It's a super windy site. We stayed at Horse Trail Camp. It's 30-40 mile an hour winds with some pretty good gusts every once in a while, and it feels like it's kind of whipping the wind around in a bunch of different directions. Billy and I camped away from everyone a little bit because I think we're waking up earlier than most, so we're trying to be as nice as we can about it. The nastiest icicles I've ever seen. If you know that the temperature is going to drop low enough where it will refreeze overnight, one of the best ways to navigate through snow is actually to wake up extra early before the sun comes up and hike across it while it's still hard. We ended up hiking along a Forest Service road, and it was a great idea. The amount of poodle dog bush that we avoided by staying on top was insane, and you can see the PCT for about 80% of it. Poodle dog bush is one of the first plants that you'll see come up after a fire. When flowering, poodle dog bush has purple flowers. It's in the same genus as yerba santa, but yerba santa doesn't have any skin irritants. Last night's one of the coldest nights on trail. It was down in the 20s, and with the wind chill, it was down to single digits. But I slept warm, so that's good. Poodle dog bush can remain the dominant species over 10 years after a fire. The seeds can lay dormant in the soil for decades before springing back to life at the next disturbance. There's no proven way yet on how to remove the chemicals from the skin if you do become in contact with it. Some people say soap and water is enough, others suggest acetone. Antihistamines are ineffective because it's not a response that can help with, but corticosteroids do have an effect, both either topical or oral. The best thing you can do is just avoid touching it. This fire roads that run through here serve more of a purpose than just logging, though many of those get built for that reason. If you can see, look at the trees. You can tell that it actually served as a very, very effective fire break. So on the right side of the road, we have a lot of burnt out trees and tons of poodle dog bush. And on the left side of the road, we do not. Looks like this is the turnout for Sawmill Camp. Looking down at the Sawmill campground, there's plenty of flat, snow-free spots. Looks like the snow's starting back up after summer. We took a couple-hour break and had a nice hot lunch. And maybe a cup or two of coffee. We met one of the engineers from the Forestry. In addition to being a pro backup driver, he was hard at work trying to get the roads reopened up so scientists and volunteers could come in and plant more than 60,000 plants that they have ready for it. We checked the map and we're going to continue on the fire road after our lunch. It just looks like it hits all the campsites we want to check out and could possibly stay at. Stays away from most of the snow and a lot of the poodle dog bush. So I know everyone has their own thing that works for them, and they got their own vibe, and it's important to find your own. But I'm gonna tell you what works for me. So personally, I love hiking. So probably between 4 and 5, I like to be hiking, and I like to do most of my miles before 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I take a 2-3 hour lunch. I heat up my food, and that's my biggest meal of the day typically. I stretch out, use my little cork ball to massage my legs, do yoga for a few minutes, and then I usually jump back on the trail and do another 5 or 6 miles. So that's usually the routine I found works really well for me. So during the winter, it's great because you start early on the snow and you stay on top of it for a lot of it. And during the summer, it works out really well because you can avoid the heat that way. So just something to consider. Careful walking under some of these pine trees. Even some of the burnt out ones have some pretty good sized cones still on them. You could see the Superbloom on the hills in the distance. Guys, this is the most poodle dog bush I've ever seen. That's all poodle dog bush out in the distance. We found this pipe connected to a cistern and decided to grab some water here. That's the color. So far, this has been the worst water source on trail. I really hope the Sawyer filter will take care of it. So this is the before, and here's the after. I'd say it did a pretty good job. Looks like this wouldn't be a bad spot to sleep. Water and already got a campsite off the side of the road. Oh man, we see the guys working down on the road. This poodle dog bush is just disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, here's some nightmare fuel for you. This is called a potato bug. They've been doing a lot of work in this section trying to replant. But clearly, this area was severely affected by a fire. We're about 18.5 miles in today. We left, I think it's Horse Trail Camp at about 4 a.m. And we're gonna hike about 4.5 more miles, I think. So something like a 22, 23 mile day. So it's gonna be the longest day of the trip so far, but it's been really easy walking. Everyone made a really big deal out of the snow, and I don't know if we just hit it at the right time or what, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. We're gonna make it all the way to Lake Hughes Road, and we're gonna see what's good there. Supposedly there's a little cache, maybe a few snacks. And before everyone accuses us of cheating by taking this road, just know that's what a lot of people are actually doing. And the poodle dog is growing so close that it makes sense to take the road. We're a little bit higher up than the trail. We've been able to see it for about 80-90% of the day, and I'm very happy with my decision. Wonder if this is Lake Hughes, since we're almost to Lake Hughes Road. We just saw a fox run past us, but I was too slow with the camera. You snooze, you lose, but it was pretty cool looking. As we started our descent towards Lake Hughes Road, the environment started to totally change. I think this may be a naked buck week, but unfortunately without flowers, it's really hard to tell. From here on out, the water was insane. There were so many water sources. After the flowers are pollinated, a capsule will form and 3 black shiny seeds will explode. It's also a host plant for many butterflies. Here's another plant that loves freshly burned areas. We passed 2 small caves on the way down. Far out did not have the second one listed. So for those of you that have a duplex or another Z-Pack tent, if you take a stick off that guide wire, you can actually give yourself quite a bit more head or foot room. I do it typically on both sides if I have a good stick available.
How about a stick, Brain? A stick is your friend.
Oh, goody.
This was our campsite for the night. Morning, guys. I've already had to flip these bad boys into 4-wheel drive.
Whoa! I'll put these bad boys in 4-wheel drive.
Crockett, how I walk it. Crockett, how I walk it.
Hey!
Walk it like I talk it, ayy. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Yeah.
It was literally stream after little stream all day long. This is wild cucumber, or man root. One of the largest root systems from this plant was excavated at the botanical garden near my house and was over 400 pounds. So we ended up camping by Lake Hughes. It was by the road just a little past the cache. And it was really cool. The water was good, a little silty. Our climb out this morning, there's been over 10, 15 water sources cruising up this hill. I mean, it's insane. I'm glad I didn't carry anything up. So I think we had about 3 miles or so from the Green Valley fire station, and I plan on topping off with some water there, maybe taking a little break. I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, and I am flying up this hill. Fortunately, I think I left Billy in the dust. His IT band's been giving him some issues, so I think he's moving a little bit slower today, so he'll catch up to me on my break. Another cistern. Let's go check it out. Well, unless you brought a crescent wrench, you're not going to be able to open this one. Some of these sections were very exposed to the sun, and I actually reapplied my sunscreen for a total of 3 times a day. I think this is a type of gold dust lichen. Lichen are composite organisms that come from fungus and either algae or cyanobacteria that live inside the filaments. They have water spigots here for hikers, and we enjoyed our lunch on their patio. Shortly after leaving the Green Valley Fire Station, we found a water cache right when we started the trail again. Thanks for the trail magic. This was a new plant for me. It's called Scarlet Bugler. So far, this has been the coolest little waterhole of the trip.
I'm gonna stop counting, guys.
Even more water. And a bridge over even more water. So this is a velvet ant, and they're technically a wasp, and the females are wingless. They have one of the worst stings ever and are called cow killers. Bees breathe by taking air in through these 10 little holes in their body, including part of their abdomen. All right, so what we got going on here is a ramen bomb. So I have crushed red peppers I added. I added a thing of top ramen. I believe it's just the standard chicken flavor. I added a pouch of chicken. And then I got some of this Beyond meat. I think it's like their version of beef jerky, and I tore it into some small pieces and threw it in here. So after this gets all soft and yummy, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the mashed potatoes and call it done. Oh, and for dessert, Snickers.
Marsha, eat a Snickers.
Why?
You get a little hostile when you're hungry. Better? Better.
All right, so Billy came through with some bacon bits that I added, and I also found some coconut oil that I had so I could up the calories a little bit more. Since the bag's so hot, I just cook it in these freezer bags. I throw boiling water in it and it works good, but they have to be freezer bags, not regular. And then I'm using my crock to hold it because otherwise I'd have boiling water on my lap. Good morning, happy hikers. So we will be making it all the way to Agua Dulce today. So we have about an 18-mile day ahead of us. I think we did 14, 15 miles yesterday. But man, we had a lot of stuff happen yesterday. So Billy's pack broke, and we kind of separated for a little bit, and I didn't realize. And so he ended up carrying a broken pack for 7 miles. We ended up fixing it last night. I had a few zip ties with me, and we were able to make it work. And so far this morning, he's saying it feels as good, if not better than before, so we'll go with it. Last night was also Billy's first time cowboy camping, so really excited for him. I know he started the trail thinking he was never going to do it. We're going to go to the Mexican food place in Agua Dulce, and I believe they permit camping overnight on their patios. Vasquez Rocks is only a mile or two from there, and so the goal is to get in there a little bit early. So Billy and I were doing some quick math, and it looks like we're actually going to hit 10% of the trail finish today. So I'm super excited for that. It's going to be kind of near to where we get to Agua Dulce. So as we get a little closer, I'm going to do some more math and actually try to celebrate that exact moment. So we walked up on this plant, and I think it's an amaranth. California goosefoot is in the amaranth family and has been used by local people to make soap as well as a vegetable. If anybody's a manzanita expert, can you tell me if this is a big berry manzanita or green leaf manzanita, please? We're just north of Agua Dulce. So the fruit's actually fairly large, and it's actually pretty sticky to the touch. I think this makes the 40th water source since Lake Hughes Road. Got a nice water cache here. Thank you, Trail Angel Jazz, or Taz. So the water's empty right now, but the stream's flowing right next to us, so kind of would seem pointless to fill it up. But what every hiker likes to see, there's a trash can. Today has been probably one of the warmest days on the trail so far. And as it's warmed up, the amount of bugs that have come out is equally corresponded, let's say. So I'm really happy to have a buff so I'm not eating them all. We're back on the Pacific Creek Trail. You are beautiful. Looks like we're only 3 days behind Blind Chicken and Jasper. We are about 3 miles from Agua Dulce right now. The hill coming down into Agua Dulce, though, was pretty dry. Why, you're welcome a lot. This is definitely one of the coolest mailboxes of the trip so far. Okay, maybe this is the coolest. So the trail actually runs on the road here, and you walk through the town of Agua Dulce. We had dinner here at Maria Bonita, and it was fantastic. They also had one of the funniest translated menus I've ever seen. Everyone there was super nice, and we really felt like we were wanted. They really appreciated the business from hikers. Thank you. I ordered the macho burrito, and it was fire. So after they close down, you're welcome to actually camp on the patio. So that's just what we did. We got started the next morning and headed towards Vasquez Rocks. They certainly do. They're called lithophytes. I'm not sure if I hyped it up in my mind or what, but the park itself was actually a little underwhelming. So this plant can flower 12 months out of the year, but it produces a really, really bad smell in order to try and help insects from trying to eat it. Once we got outside the rocky section, it actually got way prettier. I'm not sure if it's actually considered in the park or not, but it was absolutely stunning. Guys, we found the Superbloom. Turns out we shouldn't have stressed out too much about our water, guys. There's like 2 little streams running through here. This would have been such a cool spot to sleep if I wasn't concerned with rocks breaking off and falling on me. During this section, we ran into 24 other day hikers in a group. Large portions of the trail actually look like this.
I just fell in the creek. Anyways, I was walking across the log and another guy was coming up and started walking on it. The top strap in my pack got stuck into a branch and I was trying to sort it out, and then the tree started bouncing on me and I went in the water. So fingers crossed my phone's good once it dries out.
I got a little banged up from the fall, but I also cracked my phone, unfortunately. Luckily, right after I fell, we were picked up by Sleuth. Hey guys, I just got done with dinner. Sleuth cooked us a fantastic spread. Potatoes, zucchini, peppers, steaks, salmon, you name it. It was fantastic. Her and her husband were both super, super generous and opened their homes up to us. So we actually got to take showers and we can sleep on real beds tonight. But before we go sleep on a bed, we're actually going to go sit in the hot tub for a little bit. So catch you in a few. When we woke up, it was Easter morning. We hung out with George, and then my father-in-law came and picked us up and brought us back home.